great to see how Joyn is innovating and taking curation to the next level. And the key part that I think that I love about it is that, one part that I try to do, at least within my curations, is find the narrative, find the story. And then, often you just have a list of pieces that you put in there, and there's very little room to tell story. And so I think that, that aspect of it has been pretty cool to see. It takes a lot of the things that are out there and combines into one, and you can list it on the same platform, which I think is nice to provide that continuity from, accepting sort of pieces through an open call to talking about them to eventually listing them.
It's really cool that others can participate, and by the stuff that we do with the stories, with composer, with the galleries, is basically to encourage others to be motivated as much as possible to actually go and do something either with us or on their own, but just bring more art into this world. And yeah, we're here for it.
What this has done is it allows us, we're a small team building a product like creator tools. So having a partner like Joyn that has created an easy, no code, simple way, whether you're an artist, curator, a platform, being able to have a place for our creations to live and be showcased and tell the story of I think that's the biggest thing. Why does art ever sell or resonate with somebody? And you guys did a good job of making it super easy for us to plug in, integrate our contracts.
We're back. We're back. We're back. An exciting day. Spooky season. It's ending, but we're just getting started here live on X and YouTube. I'm back. My co-host here, Andrea and Black. Excited. Today is going to be a really good stream. Happy to kind of showcase everything we've been doing so far since the last stream. Things are always getting better and better. But anything for the people.
And all the Halloween candy. I got brains, I got chocolate. I'm ready to go, y'all. I'm already hyped up Halloween candy.
And then Scream face over here. He's not going to say a word, just silently, awkwardly just there. I'm excited to be here as well. Black, again, pulled out of the pitches of darkness. The prince of all AI is here with us today again. Always a good time with the three of us. Again, must see Web3 live stream of the space. And we're excited, again, really quickly, if I see you in the post, I see you on X, I see you on YouTube, I see your comments, subscribe, retweet, repost, as many people as you can get here today. Very excited with a lot of exciting content that we've been pushing out. Just we got some guests. As always, we've been getting better and better with our guests. Just more people just asking to come on, or just in general, just the people asking the artists, hey, why don't you reach out to the trio, to the Joyn Trio live stream, want to come on and do something with them. And of course, we're here to provide that for everyone. But before we get started, if you haven't already, leave your comments. Like, tell us how much you love us. Tell us how much you love Joyn. Tell us if you collected anything on platform, anything that you see there. But really quickly, before we move on, um, I want to say that it has been a pleasure to see all of you join us on a weekly basis. And then for those of you after the fact, so if you're watching after the fact, again, appreciate it. Leave your comments there as well. Celine here leaving us a comment. The holy trinity of badassery. Super hyped for today's episode. Agreed. I think it's just going to be really cool, really dope. Really quickly, what I'm wearing, dapper wrestler, a little just dressed up. I told you I was going to put you in the headlock, but today we're very chill. We're very chill, just going to hang out with the gang today. And then if you guys want to kind of share what you guys have on, but I'm sure Black isn't going to say a damn thing, but you'll see the cool stuff that he has up his sleeve. But Andrea, reflection of your showcase.
100%. I'm playing my character. I am dressed as Lola. Well, one of them. I have 2 different outfits, but figure I'll put this one on and maybe we'll see. Maybe halfway through, I will switch. I will switch up the mask a little bit. But yeah, I'm super excited. We've been looking forward to this one for a while. Halloween is just such a cool, I know it may not be celebrated everywhere, but it's a really, really fun. One of my favorite days of the year. I know it is for you as well, Black. I know we've talked about this.
In character. Oh yeah, flame on, a little fire in the face. But yeah, excited. I'm sure we'll hear from Black in a second. He's very good at staying in character. But
Yeah.
100%.
Very committed.
First up, Analog Atom, a fantastic showcase from Nevin Johnson. And again, curator produce, helped by Ev Builds from our product team. So we're excited to bring them up here in a second, and we're excited to talk about Analog Atom. So we'll see you guys in a bit.
Yo, yo.
Hello.
How we doing?
I'm
We're
doing
doing
well.
good. We're doing good.
Well, I wish I dressed up. I guess I just look like a teenager, or you could say I look the same as I looked in grade 9. Which is a little scary.
I didn't get the memo either, Ev, but that's okay.
You're looking dapper though. I like it. Cool.
Dapper indeed. Very, very fresh. Looks like a fresh cut. Beard is nice and trim. So Nevin came prepared here to talk about Analog Atom, which Ev, you directly kind of helped Nev here build this out. Again, fantastic stuff here. The page itself, and I'll pull that up in a second. But yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the thought behind it, like the idea, and as we get into it.
Yeah. So for those that don't know me, my name is Nevin Johnson, film photographer from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I had tossed I guess the impetus of this whole idea was I was in the Adirondacks enjoying the fall weather this year when my digital camera, because I shoot both, right? Like as a photographer, especially film photographer, you do both. And I have never experienced this before, but my entire digital, the card, the SD card died. So it died on me. I was like, oh, wow. Well, this is terrible. I shot some amazing photos and I'll never see them again. But, as a film photographer, kind of have both mediums. It was like, all right, well, I would have never thought digital would rug me, but thank goodness I have the film as a backup. And I was kicking around the idea of maybe doing like a blind mint sort of situation where it's like, okay, experience the whole role with me like this. And I had really kicked around the idea. I was like, that's really fun for like a generative art mint. But some of the feedback that I had gotten from collectors was, any serious collector really wants to have at least a little bit of a say in one-of-one collecting. It's a different animal than generative art. I was like, all right, well, how do I get the elements of both of those together. And I had kicked around different ideas. It's like, how do I create, maybe one photo that I personally really like, I think that others would like, and then let me tell a story behind it. So I came to Ev with the idea is like, here's what I'm thinking. And then it all just kind of came together. And like, that's the contact sheet, Miguel, for that roll of film that I had shot up in the Adirondacks. So for those that don't know, like that's how, in the darkroom, they'll lay it out, they'll scan it. Like that's unedited and all that kind of jazz. But you can see some of the elements from there do show up in the film strips. So that was the idea, is like, all right, how do I get the best of both worlds, where, you get a little bit of excitement, a little bit of unknown, but also get a say in what you are collecting. And that's how Analog Autumn kind of came together.
Yeah, man. I think the collection ended up being so well presented and such an interesting concept. When you came with the concept to me, I immediately knew that we needed to do something for this. I love like film photography, like 35 mil. I used to shoot a lot of film myself, and I mean, it's pretty interesting to kind of go back to the analog roots, like especially in this our world, which is, a digital media world. So I just wanted to know, like, Nevin, if are you, whenever you're going out and shooting, which like feels like you do this pretty often, like part of your routine as an artist is just to go out, find cool places, and shoot them. I think even over the weekend when we were jamming on the last minute things for this show, you were like, oh, I'm just out doing this. And like, so is it consistent practice to bring both digital and film always when you're going out?
Yeah. So when I was first starting out with film, I would always have the digital as a backup, right? Like, and because I was like, all right, well, what if the film gets messed up? What if I didn't do this right? But over the years, I've become very proficient at knowing the ins and outs of film photography. I mean, it doesn't account for the inevitable sort of, shit happens, right? Like you can't avoid, an SD card dying, or maybe, the film breaks. There's things where the development process. So there are ways that my whole idea when I go out is to see, it's like practicing the art of noticing, right? Like some of these photos aren't the most grandiose landscapes or anything like that, but there's just two, like for instance, that photo, like I love this photo. It's the beautiful light. There's two chairs. It has this nostalgic, welcoming feel to it where, it's just two chairs next to a lake. Like it's nothing crazy, but it's beautiful because, you notice these moments, you're like, wow, that's awesome. And I think I get to a point where film is really good to slow down. You only have 36 exposures, or on medium format, less than that, 10 or 8, or depends on what camera you're shooting. But the idea behind it is to create and to think about moments, right? It doesn't really matter what medium it's on. Having both, has saved me in this instance, film and digital. Film has taught me to slow down. Digital, like, I can't. I've seen photographers do it where they're sitting there just, pressing on the shutters, like click, 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 click. Like, I'm never going to edit all of those photos. I'm just not going to do it. That's not the way I want to create. I want to think about the moment and capture it in a single instance and then move on. Right. So it's taught me a lot about how to go about seeing the world and photographing like that. Having both mediums just kind of makes it so that I don't miss the moment. I go out with really two different cameras now. These were all shot on the M6, which is my 35 millimeter, and then I have a digital version of pretty much of that camera as well, the Leica Q2. So I go out. I have a very streamlined process, and like you said, I just like to go out and see. Any of these moments are. I think there's a lot of beauty in the everyday life, like the mundane, if you will. I don't think it's mundane, but there are just moments that you have to be, aware of, that you have to be participating. You have to be actively looking and thinking and feeling to capture them. Because, you very well could just walk past it. You whether it's light on a door, or, there are just moments that you would otherwise forget about. And I think that those are important.
Yeah, I think you do such a good job at noticing those moments. I think that like for this collection especially, I think though for a lot of your work in general, I can feel that theme. Like I have collected work from you, and the one piece that I the one-on-one that I have, that like it feels like a similar moment where the moon wasn't perfect. It wasn't exactly, the like it wasn't a perfect shot of the moon, but something about that felt like a fleeting moment, and so I can see that through line in your work in general. So let's talk a bit about like the unexpected sort of in this collection. I think that you've done an excellent job at sort of carrying that narrative through the collection. So first of all, this unexpected thing happens, and your SD card dies, and yeah, like I know that's not a common occurrence, and crazy. And then sort of carrying that theme through to giving collectors a bit of an unexpected reveal. Yeah, talk a little bit about that mechanic. I know that you were drawing from inspiration from generative art and like having that reveal. But I thought, yeah, like why not, like highlight sort of what in that process, like what did you expect to happen? Did you expect sort of like people to tell you what they want, or are you sort of like deciding and curating for them? You mentioned maybe like them having a little bit of input in the unexpected. Talk to that a little bit.
Yeah. So the whole idea, and I'm a huge Gen Art fan. I was just telling Ev, like I have a couple really grails locked away in my wallet. Like I'm a big Gen Art fan, but I also understand there's a difference, right? Like how do I take the inspiration from that? Like what's fun about collecting art in that regard? But also, it's not the same beast. So let's, find the best of both worlds there. And I feel like I also wanted to do something different. Like I didn't want to just put out another photography collection. All of these photos are great. Like I could, and it would be just, sort of a rinse repeat, if you will, versus let's do something completely different that I've never seen done. And just sort of, mix those two, and that unexpected nature. I think it lends itself to this kind of collection because it's film photography is unexpected. Like you don't know what you're going to get. I just dropped off a roll of film at the lab yesterday. I have a good idea of what's going to be on it. I don't know until it comes back. And I think that there's something really fun about that in collecting these pieces. And I also, we were on analog, the edition there. Like the reason I'm doing an edition as well is like, I understand, collecting the film strip, it's a bigger investment, but how do you have fun with me doing the same sort of thing here where it's unrevealed, right? Like that's why I uploaded the negative for that. Now, if you're smart or like, if you know how to read a negative, you kind of have an idea of what that's going to be. But, when that sells out or on Friday, whichever's first, I'm going to update them. And, it's a fun little experiment in photography and storytelling. Ev, your question about like the people who have collected the film strips, what was that process like? Actually, both of them gave me the same sort of feedback that they enjoyed the nostalgic feel of film. I mean, that's pretty spot on for it. But, there's things that I'll go take pictures of whether it's, like an old car on film just makes sense, right? Like it just does. And I think that I chose that specific piece to go in the film strip because it's unexpected. Again, it's like the film burn, right? Like that's not perfect. It's not the way it should be, but I think it's beautiful the way it is. It's like the beauty in the imperfections, embracing real life is sort of the way I look at film. And, the nostalgic red car parked out in somebody's backyard next to a lake, and then the film burn, I was like, this fits right in. So sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and there's almost something to just autumn in general that brings on that nostalgic feeling that like the fall months, everything aging and, yeah, I think that like the dichotomy that works, I think, so well with this collection. So just to be super crystal clear for everybody watching, so what Nevin did here was basically minted 5 one-of-ones that were these film strips, and then, you know, as collectors collected them, 2 of 5 have been collected so far. Those collectors then kind of worked with Nevin to help curate the final 3, and so each collector is taking home a film strip that will be like what will have all 3 images there, and then those individual images as one-of-ones as well. So you're basically getting 4 one-of-ones, which is really interesting. And then there's that edition as well that has there. I think it's a 25 edition, and there's 6 left, I think, at the moment.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that also will reveal. I actually almost like want the pre-reveal version of that.
Listen, hold on. So somebody else said that, and what I am gonna do, and this is the alpha. I alluded to it on the timeline. I'm gonna raffle that as a standalone one-of-one in the pre-revealed stage to somebody who collects, because you're not the only person who has said that. I was like, all right, like, I'm not going to do anything with this. And if that makes somebody happy, like, why not? Like, we'll raffle it. It'll be part of the Analog Autumn, you know, series. And, you know, it, like I said, like, or I've said, like, yeah, it's 4-in-1. I mean, the banner works, the film strip works really nicely as a banner. I planned that accordingly. Like, it's a 3x1 or basically that. So that's your Twitter banner. And it's just, you know, these work together to tell a story. And I think photography for me is just that, storytelling. And that's what's really important for me as an artist to get across. You know, it's a lot easier for me to tell a story in more than one image. So these 3, now 4, working together to tell that story, obviously, of nostalgia or just, you know, autumn, you know, whatever it is been really fun. And it has, you know, there's a wide range of things that I photograph. You know, I'm really just looking at life and how I see it through my lens and the emotions that gives, and seems to resonate with folks. I mean, film, there's a resurgence in the past few. I've been doing it for, I think, 6 years now. Film was a lot cheaper when I started, but it's not anymore. But it's fun, and there's a reason that it still exists.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, just to quickly touch on some of what we did with that page. So for those that do check out the show on Joyn, we did a custom background and layout for Nevin for this, so it felt cohesive and everything. And we also had the lower priced edition there up at the top in the banner. And yeah, and then as these images get revealed, we're adding them to the showcase, and the individual images are showing there. So so yeah, so just for anybody else thinking and, you know, thinking about other things you can do on Joyn, I think this acts as a really, really good bit of inspiration. You know, you really kind of like stretched the limits of what the tool can do. So yeah, well done, man. It's such a beautiful collection, and I'm excited to see those next pieces reveal. Yeah.
And I just have to say, you know, I've done one narrative and then one other story through Brighter Days, showcase through Brighter Days. And man, it's just, every time I talk about, especially for photography, Joyn is just, it's it, man. Like, having the ability to storytell, to give context, I think is super important, and something that, like, that's why I keep coming back, and why, you know, given this idea and as it started to formulate, I came to you, Ev, because I was like, man, like, I'd love to build this with you guys. And it's just, I couldn't be more proud and happy with how it's turned out. And I wouldn't have done it any other way than with Joyn.
Awesome. Likewise, man. I'm so happy you chose to do it here and gave us the opportunity to help make it come to life. So yeah, I think it's very well presented, and will act as I think a source of inspiration for other artists out there as well. But yeah, for those that are interested in collecting, go check out the page. There are still 3 one-of-ones available and 6 editions as well. And if you don't already follow Nevin, I think it's Nevin Color on Twitter.
Yep.
Yeah, so cool. I think we could pass it back.
Yeah. Pass it back to us. Appreciate it, Nev, for joining us today. We're excited to, you know, share with the rest of the community Analog Autumn. and 100%. Make sure you pick up a piece, and excited for the mechanic itself. The one-on-one film photos, really dope stuff here.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate it, y'all. We have a clown now with us. Black transform into a different demon, into a different devil.
Yes. This is fun. This is a good showcase. I love that.
The utility, like, what a way to really include your collectors. Like, I'm a huge fan of creative utility, and that to me is one of the most creative ways that I've seen in terms of utility. So for props, and the photographs are just stunning. Film photography in general, like, I remember doing some of that back in university days, and it's not easy doing film photography, dark room, all of that. So I mean, just such crazy attention to detail, and again, just shows you the capabilities of what you can do in a showcase. Like, I noticed that custom background right away. Like, it's just those details really can bring out, the narrative. And but I gotta say that that utility, mad props. That's a great way to include your collectors and everyone.
And if you're a dinosaur like me, you remember taking the little roll of film to the pharmacy or, dedicated Photoshop, and then leaving it, coming back 3 hours later and getting a nice little packet with all the pictures. And they sometimes gave you the extra little film strips that they use to kind of make the photos out of it. So really dope stuff. Really nostalgic for I know people out there, but some cool stuff. Again, if you're watching us on X and YouTube, make sure you leave your comments. Make sure you retweet like the show. We appreciate you guys joining us on, at least for me, this beautiful blue, bright, spooky Halloween, October 31st. So, we're excited to continue to talk about all the amazing showcases here that we have lined up. And I think our next one is feature someone here, one of our hosts specifically, and we'll bring up the collaborator, their partner, and we'll talk more about Lola. Hello, Barbie. How are you?
Hey,
Hi, Miguel.
girl.
Hi, Andrea. Hi, Black. How are you?
Hey.
So happy you're here, girl. Last time I saw you was in New York, back in May. So it's nice to see your
May.
gorgeous face.
So nice to see you and see you, Miguel. The many faces of Black.
I'm excited to go through this project that you guys did. It's amazing. I was going through it the other night and have looked through it earlier, and it's just like, it's awesome. I'm so stoked to learn more about how you guys did what you did, and it's such a crazy concept that's just amazing.
Yeah, it was quite a process, but very seamless. It was very easy, despite like the complexities of the process and everything. Working with Barb has been fantastic. But I want to give the floor to you, Barb, to share more about yourself. Give us a little bit of an intro of who you are, how art found you, and what you hope to convey in your work, and what led you to this direction you've kind of gone in with your work, with fashion, 3D, etc. Kind of give us a bit more about you.
Well, I'm a 3D and AR artist. I'm from Argentina. And I like to tell stories and transmit emotions with my characters and digital fashion. I started 2 years ago in NFTs, but I've been doing 3D long before. Um, I I studied three different careers in my life. I did cinema and architecture, but I left both, and I end up graduating in interior design. And when I was studying interior design, was when I was when I learned 3D, but just for architecture and interior design and that stuff. And when I started to do 3D, I instantly like love it and got really obsessed with every single detail that I was making. And so I graduated from interior design. I think it was like a week before COVID started, and the quarantine in here in Argentina, that it was really long, really, really long. And so I couldn't work as an interior designer, and I was already trying to learn more things in 3D. And in the quarantine was when I started to do more, to play more with characters and digital fashion. I have a friend that makes digital fashion, and I I saw what he was doing. It was like, oh my god, this is crazy. I need to learn this. Also, the very first beginning, I saw the pieces that Steffi Funk was making, and was like, okay, I need to try this. And I started to do it, and I love it. So I fell really in love with fashion and digital fashion. I already um, love different types of design and fashion and cinema and more things, but I like develop a new way of loving fashion through this digital way.
And I mean, when you approached me and asked me to collaborate, typically with collabs, I'm a little more scarce because I typically know, with my style, I know what will blend well. When you asked me, I was like, yeah, this is going to work. This is going to work. She approached me and said, I love what you did for Overdrive. I've loved what you did even last year for Fallen Angel. Let's use your photographs, and I would love to make 3D fashion designs on you. And I said, that's a thing? You can do that? So I was like, yeah, we're going to make this happen. And the funny thing is, the idea for Lola came up well before Overdrive, actually. I went to Italy in May, and I bought one of the other masks that's in Lola, this one right here. I bought it in Italy. And I'm like, I feel like I can do something with this for Halloween. And so when she approached me, I said, we're going to do a Halloween collection, or at least it's inspired by Halloween. So, I mean, from like the sequence of events that's led us to this point, right? I started off going to my photographer. His name is Michael Duke. He's here in Ottawa, Canada. He also did my portraits for Overdrive, and I have the full commercial rights. And he's excellent. I say, hey, listen, I want to dress up as my alter ego, as my persona. And at the time, I didn't really have a name for it yet. I didn't really ever name my persona or alter egos before. So as you can see in those photographs, it shows the exact location of where I did the shoot with my photographer. And it was in public. I will repeat, it was in public. So this is a very public location in downtown Ottawa by a staircase. So you can imagine there was probably at least 50 to 100 people that saw me wear, the ears, the mask, everything. So it was a little bit intimidating at first and a little bit nerve-wracking. So I was like, people are looking at me, and but that's what kind of added to the experience, actually, was bringing our alter ego or persona. Sometimes we don't always like to bring it out. We're afraid to do that. So it was a cool experience for me, and that's when the idea of Lola came. And I was like, yeah, you know what, let's work with, there was a series, I think, of about 20 photographs, right, Barb? There was quite a few photographs that we kind of went through together and kind of figured out, which ones are we going to work with. And I think it really came down to, for you as a 3D artist, to figure out, based on the poses, based on the lighting, what you can create fashion wise, right? So maybe kind of walk through now, as everybody can see here, we were very, very detailed with the process behind the scenes, because I don't know how many people said, Barb, that they had no idea that it was 3D designs. That like everyone thought it was a photograph, like it was a
Oh,
photographer, right?
yeah.
We felt it was important to share the process. So here's an
Yeah,
opportunity
it
for you to
was
share about your process.
I did too, to be
it was
honest. I had to go through the entire process to really understand that it wasn't actual photography. It looks so well done and it's so well rendered. It's extremely impressive.
thank you, Black.
Mhm.
So first of all, it was a beautiful experience to collaborate with Andrea. It was my first ever collab, and I remember that when we were in New York, after she left, I have more days in there after she left. I was like, I need to do something with her. I don't know what, but I need to do something with her, because I I really love her work, and the powerful energy that uh, her work has. So feminine, so powerful, and I really love it. And I wanted to mix both of our styles and our mediums, that it's not very common to see our mediums combined. So it was like a challenge that I wanted to do. So I made another outfit, and with a photograph of mine before, and was like, okay, this is fun. And so with that, I asked Andrea if she wanted to collaborate with me, uh, to mix this 2D photography and 3D digital fashion, and create something really new and powerful. Um, Sorry, I get a very a bit nervous. Um, so the process, it was a really detailed and long process. It was like how much time, Andrea? 2 months and a half,
I think I
or
gave the
2 months maybe.
photographs, the final photographs, around early September, I like to think. So yeah, you had a solid month and a half, 2 months of time. And we literally just finished the showcase right on the dot. Like when we say on the dot, it was on the dot. Every single second we could take
Really,
from that moment, we took it. Do you want to maybe share,
really.
Barb, programs that you use? You know, what programs did you use to start from the clay modeling to the final render?
Well, I usually use several programs to do my pieces. For this collab, I use DAS 3D first for the pose. First, I need to recreate the poses that Andrea did in the photograph that we choose. Um, Maybe not 100% exactly like she was, because at the end we didn't use like digital gloves. We use hard gloves. So some things didn't have to be like super exactly, but for example, on some of the pieces, as she had like a longer leggings, and I wanted to do dresses that have like a higher cut in the leg. I needed to create her new legs. So for that part, it needed to be like super exactly, so it matched with the photograph. So I did the pose in that 3D with the photo like behind it, like there. Um, and then with that, I exported my character into Marvelous Designer. That is where I create the clothes mostly. Um, I already have some like inspiration board to work with, and so with that I started to create the clothes, simulate them, and I have to simulate the clothes in basic pose that is like a pose with the arms like you saw down there, and then I animate the clothes to the final pose, and then that goes to some of them go to Substance Painter where I made the textures. Some I made them there, and other just in the final program that is Cinema 4D and with Octane Render. And there I imported the clothes and the character too, because I the legs and some parts of the body that then I will need to put in the photo. And I had to recreate the lights that were in the place where was the shooting taking place, and so it matched with the photo because the light it's really important in there to make the textures look really realistic. If not, if the light doesn't match, it won't look really realistic. So that was like really important to know how was the environment, the main light come from, if it's one light, two lights, or how many. um, and so with that I copy the camera with the specifications that Andrea provided me to match the perspective and that stuff. And after that, after I texture everything, I have the lights and everything good. I render the outfits and then go to Photoshop, mix with the photograph and do some retouching perspective, and then see there is after all of that long process.
It just goes to show, you know, there's no way we could have shared this body of work on any other platform. Everyone would have thought, would never have guessed that there's such a lengthy process to this. So I knew that, you know, when I wanted to create another showcase, I said I want to push beyond the boundaries of what the showcase is able to show from a process perspective. You know, I've seen process in a few showcases, but to this kind of length, I wanted to show people that this was possible with our collaboration, that by showing this process, we can hope that others can appreciate and experience the art differently, knowing how long and how detailed this process was. But I mean, there's no way. I mean, I wish these designs were real. I've been saying that for the past week. I've been
I
telling
wish that
people,
too.
I wish these designs were real because I would wear them. There's no way I could probably afford them, even if they did exist. But I'd be curious to hear your feedback, Miguel and Black, in terms of the showcase itself. You know, Barb and I worked pretty extensively on this, but it was very easy. Like I said, like considering how detailed and lengthy the process was, it was very smooth. And I think was a really beautiful collab. And I'm glad it was our first one. Really honored that you chose me as your first person to collab with.
Yeah, I think this is it's a milestone kind of project. I mean, it's something that I've never seen anything like this before. I'm not sure if it's like the first time this has ever happened, but it's something that's super unique. I know that, and especially in our space. And the showcase just lays it out perfectly and allows you to have that space to really talk about it. And I find it to be just really fascinating. The process is incredible. I'm sort of a process guru to me. Like I love like kind of diving in. I think a lot of artists tend to really want to understand how something was made. I think the collectors like to know why it was made, but artists want to know how. And for me, like when I go through it and check it out, it's incredible. Both you did such an amazing job. And to me, it's very inspiring to kind of think about how it could be applied to a lot of other things. And it kind of just it's a very inspirational type of project for me, just mentally. When I go through it and look at it, I get a bunch of ideas. It just makes me think like, oh, if they could do that, then we could do this and we could do that. And it's a really inspirational project. So just fantastic job. I love it. It's awesome.
Thanks so much. I mean, we both, when we
Thanks a
talked
lot,
about Halloween inspired, we're like, we want to do something that's also beyond Halloween, right? Because I mean, Halloween's only one day out of the whole year. They're like, what can we do to kind of bring more of a narrative and story with this alter ego that I have, so that it goes beyond Halloween? Because I think it's much bigger than that. Like I've been doing I've been modeling for a long time, and I used to hide in a studio doing this because I was so afraid to be in public that I'm modeling. It's something I've had to get over. And then with this experience, I'm like, she's out now. Cat's out of the bag. Like she's out now. She's ready to conquer, So it was very liberating experience for me as a creator as well. And I got to experience that with Barb. So it's really special.
It really was special. And also I think that with digital fashion, I see it like you can do whatever you want, and you can be whatever you want to be, play, and like physics are not and not something that really matters. And like you don't have like a budget, you can do anything, and you can play, and you can be whatever you want to be, like Lola. So that's something that I think fashion and digital fashion gives you, like the possibility to release something that you don't release like every day, and to be like more free.
Exactly. That was pretty much exactly what we wanted to do. And a lot of people ask, like, was the narrative already created before or after? In this case, it technically was both, but not being fully self-aware or conscious that that's what was actually happening. When I was creating the showcase, and when we were putting all the elements together, that's when it occurred to me, oh my God, we created this without having full scope or like of what's gonna kind of transpire. So I think that's something that's also really beautiful about the showcase feature, is that there's a narrative within a narrative within a narrative sometimes, and it's kind of a mind-blowing and again very liberating. So I mean, I couldn't have been more. I'm saying this to all my peers outside of Web3, that like I am so lucky that I got to wear these beautiful digital fashion designs, like truly honored. So I appreciate you, Barb. This has been a beautiful experience. And just so everybody knows, there's 6 pieces in the showcase. One of them is at 0.09. This is one piece that's outside of the fashion designs I've done together. And then there's 5 one-of-ones for 0.15. I also want to make note for utility that you will also get a second piece out of that did not make it onto the showcase. So you will be getting a second one, similar utility as Overdrive. I wanted to continue what I provide in terms of utility. And then with Barb, we'll choose together, what those additional pieces will be providing to collectors when they purchase one of the one-of-ones to continue the narrative.
Amazing. Thank you so much for running through all that. It was such a great insight to everything. It was wonderful. And
Thanks
Barbara,
so
great to meet you as well. It's such an impressive work. You did a fantastic job.
Thank you so much.
And even Cosmo loves her designs. Even Cosmo loves her heavenly walk, her beautiful blue dress. Like even he loves it. So girl, you're on the projector. You're on a freaking roll. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Keep doing it.
it was really a pleasure to work with you, Andrea, and it was so easy. Uh, because we also have such a good relation, so it was really smooth and flowy to work with her, and nothing, and I think it wouldn't be possible to tell all these stories if it wasn't for the showcase tool. It was really important uh, to to make this big project um, come together.
Much love, girl.
Appreciate it, Barbs. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks so much, girl.
Thank you
You're the
so much.
best.
you.
Thanks so much.
Let's go.
It's really dope to for artists in general when they show the process. I mean, that just shows that one, the confidence, uh not scared of the competition. Like, yeah, I'll show you, but can you do better? Almost like a challenge. And then also in general, just like information sharing, knowledge sharing, tool sharing, always super important. I mean, we always try to elevate one another, as we say, in the space, and being able to kind of show the process, inspire others and inspire others who are just like beginning their journey and wanna get to this kind of level. And I agree, I'm aligned to what the both of you have said so far. Reminds me of back in the day, I did work with Steffi Fung. She did a lot of the original kind of OG NFT, digital art, fashion stuff. But that's now, or what is that, like 3 years ago? So we're now at a place where combining the IRL stuff and digital and putting into one, and then not even being really able to tell like what is what at this point. That's really dope. So I dropped the link already to the showcase, Lola. It's in our YouTube comments and also in the post on X. For those of you watching, I see you. I see the comments that you all are leaving. Harsh Polar says GM and happy Halloween. Laser Dude says yeah,
Woo!
heart. And then Jetsube says Andrew and Barbie, things of everything. So yeah, I see you. Make sure you retweet, make sure you like, make sure you show us some love. We're watching all of you. Just kind of leave comments, and I see you watching us. So in general, I think some fantastic two showcases, our two guests, and we still have a little bit more to kind of chat about with kind of our new segment here that we kind of want to debut on Halloween the 31st. Our picks of just in general what we're feeling, what we're liking, and it's a big opportunity to just showcase pieces or assets or showcases or art plus and stories, just anything that we kind of want to share as a group. And I have my kind of first pick here that where we'll talk about this showcase, this open call in a second later in the on the stream, but this is one of the pieces that are coming out of that. So I'm gonna quickly share here this piece right here by Brain Pasta. It says, "Check, please." Who doesn't love some a good combination of Pepe and glitch art? Some really dope pieces. I am unfortunately sometimes not as deep or artistic like my two co-hosts here, my two counterparts, but I'm a sucker for just cool stuff that looks dope that I like. So that'll be that kind of person that if it looks shiny and it shines or it looks like a diamond, then I'm gonna just showcase it. So check please by Brain Pasta, really dope stuff. Um, you know, who doesn't love a good Pepe piece?
It's awesome. It's really fun.
It is actually pretty kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. Love the glitchy effect and the glow effect, and it's good little humor. Definitely, I can see this definitely being your taste for sure. It's awesome.
And we'll so that was my pick, and we'll we'll kind of improve this segment as we come on. I'll make like a shiny new transition and all that. We're going off the cuff here. This is completely brand new, but we did want to kind of just like do like showcase people, and of course this is the show of the people, show, you know, join everything that's going on platform. And I'll hand it over to Black, who wanted to showcase a strange history.
Yeah, Strange History dropped a pretty large group drop today for Joyn. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, maybe not. But there's just a bunch of awesome artists in here and some spooky vibes, sort of like ancient cult type stuff. And, you know, Strange History is one of those. I keep referring to it as like a franchise at this point. I mean, for Strange History just kind of breaks out into everything and all different types of storylines and all different kinds of things. I have a piece in this drop as well, as you guys see right there. And there's just amazing artists in here. Everyone kind of builds out, you know, their full narrative and really just like gives it their all. And it's just it's amazing to see. And you know, Strange History has all different types of things going on. We also had like a branch off drop yesterday with Strange History called Horrorwood. And there's several other ones going on. There's a new Strange History open call happening on Joyn as well for the Napoleon theme that's coming out. And it's just, Strange History is insane. I have to give it props and give it highlights because there's so many artists involved across Foundation and Joyn and Object and Super Rare. And there's all the different projects going on. And it's an amazing set of ideas from so many incredible artists. And this one today is really cool. I invite people to definitely go check it out. It's one of those things you got to sit down and kind of, you know, read through with some candy and popcorn maybe, and a blanket to be safe with. But for the most part, it's there's just some really good work in there and some really cool ideas, and the stories are just awesome. So definitely check it out in full. It's some pretty wild stuff.
Again, using definitely super cool. I agree, Andrea. And then also the use of just the black on red and fitting the theme, and you know, being able to just add these kind of details using a composer and the showcase itself. But yeah, Andrea, you were gonna say.
Oh, I was gonna say there's quite a bit of a price range too, so there's lots of very affordable art in here, and I love the headers in that specific font. Couldn't have picked a more perfect header font.
Yeah,
for
I
Selwyn.
agree.
I believe it's pronounced Selwyn, I believe.
Selwyn.
Someone
Got to give a shout out to Historic Crypto, who put all this together, I believe, on his own over the last few days. Yeah, it's incredible. It really is. He also has an on Cyber Gallery. I think they have a space going on right now with a haunted house on Cyber Gallery with all this work in there too. So that's pretty amazing too.
It's just like a full onslaught of
it's insane.
history and
Strange History is a virus. You guys better be careful.
All right, and then last but not least, Andrea, and your pick for this stream.
Yeah, so we'll talk about it briefly shortly as well, about one of our amazing partners, Patrick Amadon, for his open call, his curation open call. And I was going through some of the submissions. I believe it ends end of day today. So I was curious to see, you know, what everybody's been up to with their curations. And I found this one, and I was quite impressed with this one. So I believe it's curated by _787. I'll put the evolution of portraits. So, I mean, I'm you know, given that we dropped Lola last week, it is a self-portraiture collection. I've always been a huge fan of self-portraits. So I think this is a really cool, unique take that this artist took with the evolution, you know, even before photography, from sketches. It's just very well put together. And I just wanted to highlight this specific artist for their contributions and creating this showcase as his curation, as the artist curation submission to the open call. There's quite a diversity of mediums in here, and I mean, one of the biggest reasons I love self-portraiture is that there's just so much emotion conveyed, and that's, you know, that's something that I try and do with my work. So anytime I also see other ways of how other artists, different mediums create self-portraits, it just hits me on another level. So I am so happy that this artist or whoever created this put this together, because I think it was it's structured very well. And I actually prefer the white background on this, because I think, with some of the sketches, they had a bit of a lighter background. So I think it was brilliantly put together, and I thoroughly enjoyed the experience going through this.
There's really dope stuff in here. Fit his theme well. Then, wow, he even did a little graphic that covers all the pieces that he showcased throughout the whole showcase itself. That's a nice touch. At the bottom too. So if you see something you like, you'll scroll back up. But again, yeah, I think Andrea mentioned it. Patrick 404 showcase open call, which is a good segue. We're going to talk about it later, but we'll bring it up now. The open call 404 creation contest. The requirement here was that the curators who are participating in this open call had to pick from previous 404s that we've been talking about over the past couple of months. Different open calls. Just submit your work, and you got featured in the 404, and over just almost 6,000 pieces in overall the catalog, and that's how the curators are going to be able to pick. We're under the 24-hour mark, so there's only 13 hours left. We've been running this for a bit now, almost like a week. The winner, who will be chosen by Patrick, will get one ETH and a one-night show at the Super Chief Gallery in New York City. Really nice gallery. I've been there before, and some dope stuff. So lots of submissions, the instructions here. But yeah, really quickly, just like sifting through some of the submissions so far. The one that Andrea showcased, the evolution of portraits, and then you could quick glance here at some of the other ones that we have here that the curators have submitted so far. So some really cool stuff for sure, 100%.
Amazing.
To encourage y'all to have a look at them, because I think to me it actually I never curation is not easy to do in general, and this actually sparks create some ideas for me. And I always found that curation for me is not always so natural, but then I started looking at all of these. I was like, wow, this is inspiring me to come up with my own curation. So you'd be surprised. So definitely have a look at the submissions that everyone put together. I can't get
And
over Black's
all
mask with the jaw.
with the laughing skull. All CC0 as well. That was the ethos of the 404. Being able to just put all these beautiful pieces into a showcase, and this is the first open call and Joyn where you could submit a showcase or a story as a submission. So some really cool stuff here on platform, again iterating on the original idea of composer, and whatever you create, being able to submit that to the different opportunities that we have on Joyn itself with our fantastic partners who, of course, some of them joined us today, and others who just typically are participators in on the platform on Joyn, just always creating stuff. And the open calls, the bread and butter, Joyn's bread and butter, open calls, and providing these opportunities for our community in general. So here's another one, another fantastic opportunity. 13 hours. I'm sure a couple of you could pull something off really, really cool in 13 hours and submit it to the 404. All the instructions are here. We'll push the link along in the YouTube comment and on the post on X. So for those of you watching us here or after the fact, hopefully not too far after the fact, that it's still open to submit something. But this Patrick Gamathon open call for creation contest. So excited here to kind of wrap this up and see the final submissions kind of roll in. And with that being said, I think we have one more to showcase, and we'll be right back with that. What a way to end it with our own open call, and I think another fantastic opportunity, just because it's an open theme. You could submit your best piece of work into our open call that we're collaborating with Neo Gallery, Neo Digital Gallery, and we have a guest curator, Rhinotic, Adam. For those of you who know him off Twitter or X, a fantastic curator choice by Michael, our co-founder here at Joyn. Reached out to him and he agreed. So we have this open call running. It's a beautiful open call graphic. It's animated in the description of the open call. Is really dope. But in general, I think fantastic opportunity. Uh, you'll be featured if selected in Joy City, Beijing, China. Rhinotic will choose 10. The Joyn team will choose 10, and that's 20 total spots to be exhibited in Joy City. Again, the theme is open ended, so all we want to see is your best work, whatever medium, whatever you feel is some dope stuff. Feel free to submit that. It's a little bit about Rhinotic, and we'll share that link so you guys could kind of learn more. And then where exactly you're going to be exhibited. Over 2 million visitors each month. Holy, that's a lot of people that are going to be able to see your work if you're picked. And, curating out of, I'm pretty sure it's going to be an intense amount of submissions for this one since it's an open theme. And yeah, we'll see. Look at that, 2 submissions already, and we literally just started like a couple minutes ago, not too long ago. So, 9, I refreshed. So there's a lot more just gonna kind of be rolling in. So excited to kind of see the kind of work that rolls in. Which in this case, while we have Black here, means that we ended the open call for the other kind of first half of the month for Neo Digital Gallery in Joy City. We have Black here, and we have the Gratefulness for Humanity open call that ended, and we are going to push the winners, but the winners are already in this story, and we'll
Yep.
kind of highlight those. And Black could talk a little bit about the curation process that he had for this one, for this half, and he was the curator for Gratefulness for Humanity.
Yeah, we really wanted to do something that was positive and really kind of push some good vibes out there. The world's kind of crazy right now, and so I wanted to make sure we were kind of working towards like positivity in general and just kind of showing some different vibes from kind of reflections on humanity and just kind of good things. I think that we have the power through art to promote things that are good and to kind of have that type of impact on people. And I think in such a public arena like where this will be displayed, it'll be something that could have a really positive effect. So I'm super stoked to kind of have us on the Joyn side officially announce these winners, and I believe we're in the final stages of that process. So here pretty soon they'll be getting out.
And beautifully displayed here in the story on Joyn. And I think there's some really nice ones here. You did a really good job. Of course, always a tough job as a curator, just finding the right pieces that match the theme. And then it's the whole kind of thing of taking your time and making sure you're not missing out on one. But again, fantastic job here, and a really dope open call that we held earlier in the month. Gratefulness for Humanity.
Congrats
And then,
to
of
all.
course,
Recognize a few artists in there. So it's awesome to see.
Yep, there's some great work. There's some really good work in there for sure.
and then, yeah, of course, and then our open call starts now. We'll probably end towards the latter half of next week. So, like, towards Thursday, Friday, like early Friday, like Friday midnight, something like that. A little earlier, you got the countdown here, but we're excited to kind of see. This is a course for our community, Joyn community. Fantastic opportunity. It's, again, the theme is open ended, so any kind of medium, any kind of work, just submit your best, and then ourselves, the Joyn team, and Rhinotic will pick 20, 10 each. Yeah, we're excited to kind of see what rolls in, and showcase our community in Joy City, Beijing, China. Again, appreciate it. Thank you to Neo Digital Gallery for offering the space, and fantastic work and Gratefulness for Humanity, and excited to see the work that kind of continues to roll in for this open call that we just kicked off.
So many things happening, y'all. So I have had a few artists tell me that they bookmarked joyn.xyz so that they don't miss out on any opportunities. So definitely recommend. Even I do that because it just the amount of opportunities increase. They increase over time. So that's probably one of the better ways to ensure that you're not missing out.
Yeah,
That's
I
for
think
sure.
that I think that lots of ways to kind of just stay informed about everything that's happening on Join. We have an email list. We could share a link after the stream ends so that you could join our email list. We kind of highlight everything that is happening on platform, and some cool emails that get sent out. And then we also have just all our social media. So if you aren't already, you could follow us on X and Instagram at Join XYZ. Make sure you're following us on socials, your favorite social platform. And then also make sure you leave your comments on X and YouTube. I know you guys are still watching us, or you're watching us after the fact on this beautiful Halloween stream that we held featuring Nav and Barbie, who have done showcases on Join, and then all the other stuff that we've highlighted so far. Our own open call with Neo Gallery, we're going to announce winners for Gratefulness for Humanity and that story. Patrick Amadon's 404, which is ending in a few hours, 13 hours to be exact. And then, of course, all the pieces that we feature that we kind of wanted to highlight, at least for this stream. And then all our beautiful viewers. I know you guys are still watching us. So thank you again for tuning in on this beautiful, beautiful Halloween. Nice weather, looks really nice out here in New York City, and I hope the same for up there in Canada, and I hope the same for Seattle on the west coast of things. So some dope stuff, and glad to have held another stream with my co-hosts Black and Andrea.
It was a good one for sure. Love going through all the work as always, and cheers to a great Halloween.
Absolutely. And I hope we can see that mask again at some point. Too dope.
There's a Santa Claus one, so maybe I'll break it back out.
Oh man.
Oh boy. You heard him.
It's the sad truth that either Halloween gets skipped or Thanksgiving gets skipped, and people think right to Christmas. So we still have the big turkey to kind of show up behind us, or at some point, or later in the month. As we again, of course, will come back on demand. So if you are watching us, feel free to tell us to come back sooner. We'll gladly kind of continue to showcase everything that's happening on Join. And then, of course, if you're watching us after the fact, make sure you tag your favorite artists, whoever you kind of want to see us join us on the live stream, the hottest live stream on the Web3 space, apparently. But that's not us. We're not labeling ourselves as us. We're just three passionate people who happen to work together. And we work at Joyn, so we're excited always to come on and chat about what's going on platform. But yeah, excited to come back soon and continue to highlight everything that's happening on Joyn. And then of course, again, appreciate our guests that came on today, Barbie and Nevin, Autumn Analog and Lola. So super excited to continue to chat with all of you offline, and make sure again leave your comments. Make sure you come back. We're joined by Santa Claus a month, 2 months, almost 2 months early. He's
early
ready
this year.
to come in early this year. He's ready to give all the little kids low ETH priced NFTs and
Free
he's
mints and open
excited.
editions for everybody.
Unlimited mints for everybody. No gas fees. Everything is free.
Yeah.
But some dope stuff again. Before we leave, it's me. Just so they're not fooled, I'm unmasked. It was still us. It was Miguel, Andrea, Black here hosted. We're gonna dox ourselves as always. Our beautiful faces as we come back and wrap up another fantastic Join live stream. Again, join Neo Gallery open call featuring Raynatic. Dope open-ended open call, get featured in Beijing, China, Joy City, and then we'll announce the winners of Gratefulness for Humanity and open call that we held earlier in the month. Some dope stuff there too. So again, if you're not already, subscribe, comment, retweet. Make sure you share the stream. tag your favorite artists. Make sure they are demanding they come on stream, the hottest stream in Web3. And we're excited to come back next time. And we appreciate you guys tuning in.
Let's go.
We'll see you. Bye.
See you in the next one.